Well, hello, everybody. It's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes. And today we're going to show this really, this is such a fun little card. So I decided to go with a square, but it would still fit into an A2 size envelope just due to the size of the card because the width is still 4¼ But look how fun this is. This is just adorable. Look, flip, flip. It's just so much fun. Flip, flip. And then it's still a regular opening card. So it is so super cute. So it's just got this really, really cute flip. So we're going to build the base of the card now, and I'm going to end up making 2 cards. So in case you missed it, you can catch it around. I will be attaching, these little bees came from the set, the kit, but let's build the card first. So we're going to be doing this card, and this card's going to have this little embellishment on the front. It's super cute. So this piece comes, and I cut it down already. So this comes from this sheet. This is another one that we're going to be doing in a minute. So in a little bit, here we go. There's this one. Hello, everybody who just jumped on. And so just for everybody who missed earlier, this is the card we're making. So it's a little hidden peekaboo because the peekaboo is, boop, it's right there. It's hidden, it's hiding behind the little flap. And then you can open it up and you have another little image on the inside, but it is a regular size opening card. So it's a normal card. It just has an extra little flip flap on the front. So what I've done is I have cut my cardstock base. There's only one score you have to make, and that's why I have my paper. Well, you guys can see my paper trimmer. So this card, and I'll be putting all the measurements, and again, links for supplies are down in the information section. But this base of card, and I'll be putting all the measurements in the information section too, is 4½ by 8½. I got my little cheat sheet right there. So it's 4½ by 8. So 4¼ So it's 4¼ by 8½. So when you fold it, it becomes a square. Hopefully I measured this correctly. If not, we can do a quickie little trimmy thingy here. So it's it becomes a 4¼ by 4¼ square. Hello, hi Viola. Well, welcome to your first live. Glad to have you. Okay, so here is our little square. So if you were going to do a regular A2 size card, it would just be taller. But because the shape of these particular little cutouts, I thought it would just look super cute as a little tiny square card. So we're going to go with that. All right. The next part you need is you're going to need to have the floppy parts. So I cut this out. So here's the next part. And this is 1 1/4 by 6. And this one we are going to need to score. So I have my trimmer out, and I use my trimmer for scoring. I use my trimmer for everything. It's awesome. And we're going to be trimming one thing. All right. So we're going to need to score this at 3½. So I just use, flying scoring tool. A scoring tool from another Element because I just find it easier. And I can get down to the 7th inch. I don't have to pull out a separate tool to score. And as long as you have like the little ridge right here, it fits. So there is the little floppy part that we're going to be using for our card. So just go ahead and fold that down either way. There we go. So that's our little flap that we're going to be using. And then the last thing is I got these beautiful pearlescent cards, and they were already scored for me. And I thought that was awesome, but I didn't want to. Who makes these card kits? They're so cute. So it's not a kit, but these little pieces right here. So this element right here, so this thing right here comes from Cottage Garden, and it's an international company, but there's a company called European Paper Crafters that imports all that stuff to the United States and sells it on their site, and their link is down below. So you can find these little 3-dimensional elements, and then there's a paper pack that matches it, which is where I cut these pieces out, and that's where these papers come from. So they go together, but the rest of it is on me just putting it together. My little brain. She also has this pearlescent paper. I just thought this was super, super pretty. This one's kind of a greenish color. So what I did is I love the look of the card. I turned that into a mini card that went on here. That's where this little piece came from, right here. So we're going to cut that down. Now this card measures, the little pink card, which you can use regular cardstock and then just score it right in the middle. So this piece right here is 3 3/4 by 7½. So I'm going to cut this down to be 3 3/4, and I'm actually just going to cut it as a unit, right? So it's 3 3/4. Okay, and then if you opened it up, it should be 7½. But since I'm keeping it folded, I'm going to fold not on the folded side, but on the open side to 3 3/4. So now I've got just a smaller square. And yeah, these paper trimmers can cut through both. So now I have my little smaller square that fits on my card. But if you didn't have that, then you just cut to 3 3/4 by 7 1/2, and then just fold it in half. And that gives you that little front mini card. All right, let's get this mess out of the way. All right, so the pieces that you need to make your card. Let me get all the stuff. Sorry. Get the little bits and bobs out of here. You have your main card base. You have your element that goes on top. And then you have your little flap. Right? So the base of the card, basically, this is just the elements of the card. And anything that you would want to build from this particular card from here on out is your call. Hi, Jean. Hi, Debbie. Lots of people on. Hello, Linda. Hello, hello. All right. So your flap right here, which we scored a second ago, remember this one, and again, measurements I'll put down below, so I'm not going to repeat them 5,000 times, but we scored it at 3 1/2, so that gives you that flap that hangs over. The larger section hangs down below. So this is 3 1/2, so this would be 2 1/2 because it is 6 inches total. And then we have a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and this is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 square. And so this would fit on top, and then you would end up having that because that's going to get glued down. But then you can open the whole entire card for normal, right? But now we want to build some elements. We want to add some stuff to this. So we are going to, my puppies, whimpering down below. This is some dots paper. It's really, really cute stuff. I just thought it was like this really fun texture. And this is from, I can grab it real fast. This is a Coordinations dot paper that I've had for, I need to put this on the information for it's the Jillian Dot Spotted, and it's got a ton of colors in here. And I've had this for ages, and I just happened to like pull it back out and wanted to mess around with it. But I'll see if I can find this and link to this for you guys too, because I just think it's a great, it's like a solid cardstock, but it's got a little something fun to it. All right, so we need to line up our little image here because this little guy is going to be, whoops, on here like that. I just thought this was a fun color combination. So I picked all the pattern papers that went, and then the little hidden part is the fact that this is what you're supposed to build everything off of for these 3-dimensional things. Oops, sorry, I just hit my camera. You're supposed to build everything off, but I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun if we had it where it just, like it was that little, it looks like it's together, and then you go, oh, just kidding. By the way, it's just hiding underneath there. So I'm going to pop out the main one, the big one, not the huge square, but the main one, because I want to make sure I can build, and we can just build from there with the pop dots. I did it the other way around. I actually built it 100% to begin with, but we'll do it a little differently this time around. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive from this to this, because this, oh, and there's one other step. I wanted to round my corners. I just thought it looked pretty. So I just want to do a little corner rounder. You could skip this step. So this is my old corner rounder. This thing is ancient. It's got paper in there. There we go. I just thought it was a nice little juxtaposition to the fact that everything was kind of squarish and this guy is round. And so this card, remember, opens this way, right? Now we need to line up this little piece, and then this piece of paper goes on top. So I want to make sure that I'm going to line this up where I want to. And I made it white. You could make this flap another color, but I wanted it to tie in with the back card. I didn't want it to be something different. So you could make the back card whatever color you want. So this little guy is going to go right here, just like that. So I'm actually going to drop this down because I want more of it to be covered. So this is where you have to kind of play about where your little floppy piece is going, because I'm specifically trying to cover up and overlay that. Now, what if you don't have this? Well, you could do a stamped image, and then as you flip it up, it'd be the same stamped image underneath. You could have a little hiding stamped image. So it's a flap. Maybe you created a scene. So, you know, think about like an underwater scene. It could be an ocean, and then the flap, and you have an octopus or something in there, or it could be a shark. And then on your flap, you put the same shark in the exact same spot. And when you flip it up, you can see the whole scene. So it's like a little peekaboo thing. Or it could be, you know, there's so many options. Just think, this was done because the scene was already built for me, but you could totally do your own scene. Paper shaper punch. Oh yes, corner rounders. I actually have 2 corner rounders. This is my, there's another one that's got a different degree of corner. I don't know why that's such a big deal or why I need that, but it's okay. I just tend to grab one. So I think I like the position of where this lies. I think that's good. So I'm going to lift that up and then very carefully just hold that there. There we go. And then add my adhesive. Don't want to screw up the lining up. And this is going all the way to the edge right here. Okay, so just checking again before I glue everything else down. I'm centering this right here in the center, and then this little piece would go right there. And I'm good. It's a little higher than I want it, but you know, it'll be fine. So it's that little hidden piece right there. But now I want to put a layer on top. So that's where this yellow paper comes from. I was trying to use some of the other pattern papers, but it just looked too busy. So some of the other pattern papers that came with that set, like I was trying to use the bees, but with all that was happening and so many flaps, and this was such a, it just was too much. And the white was just too white. Oops, I put the wrong thing away. So I changed it up and went with just a color that blended in with the card itself. I just thought it looked really nice. All right, so now I'm going to put a little flap right here, and I'm just going to line it up so it goes like that right there. And most of that little flap is going to get covered. So I just cut a little tiny section. And this guy is like 1 by 1.5. It's just, it's small. We're going to put this on last because the first step is we're going to put this card down. Just adhesive on the back. It's a little bit of lining up, but it goes pretty quick. Once you have everything kind of, and it's all squares. So it's just going down by square, 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 which is nice. You could do a rectangle, be totally cool to do if you want to do a full A2 size card. And then this scene could be an A2. I mean, just, you know, size it down. And then there is our little flap. So we're going to add a little bit of adhesive right here. There we go. And then put our little flappy guy right there. So you could totally just leave the scene like that. I mean, it could be a flat card, but it's made to have these 3-dimensional elements. So if you wanted to make it 3D, which I think just looks super cute because it just has that little 3-dimensional quality to it, or you could leave it flat. I mean, because that could be like your stamped image that you created. But having little punch out things like this, so much easier. So when you get this little set, it has numbers. So this was layer 1, this was layer 2. Now I'm going to go to layer 3. I'm going to punch this out. And I ended up not using on the previous one. I actually took a layer out because I just thought it was going to be a little too thick. So I left one of the layers completely out of here and didn't use it. So you don't have to use everything that they're stating. You can amend it however you wish. But this one doesn't have tons and tons of layers to it. So we've got this guy, so it's just, and it all just punches right out. It's so nice. And then we've got little bits of flowers, and these flowers go in the same layer. So we got one here, and we got one here, and then there's a little bird. So this one doesn't have as many, like that one ended up having 5 layers total. Actually, it was 6 layers. This one had 6 layers. So I was like, that's a lot. This one only ends up having 4 because it's just accentuating the birds and the flowers up a little higher. And then it's got a couple of bees. So I thought I would put the bee in there. Here we go. So a little bee, it'll have a little 3-dimensional element there. And then there's another little bee right here. That's going to go right there. So now it's just a matter of getting some of your pop dots. So I have all these little leftover bits from just pieces, right? So, and I don't want to do anything that's too thick because otherwise it makes your card super thick. All right, so I don't want to lose any of these pieces. Let's get them off. And so I'm just going to add some pop dots or foam dots or whatever it is to the back sides of this stuff. Boop. Just to pop it up, I'm going to use some of the narrow ones here. Ah, it goes flying on me. If you want to use thicker, you could totally use thicker, but I think it just gets too thick and then it would have a hard time fitting in an envelope. So it's really just whatever thickness you want to go to. And then one there, and then one there. And I need to put a little bit right there. If you've got foam squares, whatever works. I'm just using up all my little bits of leftover stuff because I have it. I have so much leftover fun, funky shapes because I die cut them out and use them for shaker cards. So I have all these random pieces left over. So use them up. Use them up. Why not? All right. So there's that. Now we're going to add a little bird. So I just need something for the bird as it goes flying again. Hi, oh, lots of hi, E squared. How you doing? All right, so pop up my little birdie. I'm going to have a hard time finding a pop dot that's going to be small enough for the little bees, but I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Okay, I can put the big one here. The next card, I won't waste the time and show you how to do all this, but you get the idea. So here we go, pop, pop dot. And then, oh, I had one more little piece. Lots of little trashy bits, but that's okay. There we go. I think it just adds something. I think this is such a fast and easy card to make when you have those three. I'll do the bees later because I got to cut something pretty small and I don't want to waste you guys' time. Well, I'm just finagling. Clean off some of the trash. Oops, there we go. So here is our little card again. So flip open, flip open. Now let's do here. So I went ahead and cut out, and some of the pattern papers that came that is a matching actually had the exact same little set. So let me show you some of the other fun ones. This was another one, which that one I have the identical, there we go, the punched out pieces. So some of them 100% match. So you could have the exact same scene on the interior too. But I thought that was just a little too matchy-matchy, a little too on the nose. So I picked a different cutie scene that would look really super cute. So there are some scenes that are three-dimensional that look like that too, if you wanted to use those. So I just picked out a pattern paper I thought was cute. This pattern paper is kind of cool because if you flip over on the other side, there's a yellowy version, or you can have the white version. And I just happen to like the white one personally better. So that's the one I'm going to use. So I just cut down this square. This one happens to be, again, I have it all written 3.5 by 3.5. That's what this square is right here. And I just, it worked perfectly because everything was in squares. So I just thought this whole thing looked cute. So I'm going to use that one. But wait, hang on. Which one do I want to use? So we've got, I don't know which one. Should I use the little birdie, the birdhouses, or the little seed pot with the bird? Maybe this one makes sense because it's a watering can and they've got the seeds. So it kind of is like, oh, well, we've got seeds and pot in here. It's like watering can. It's the same little bird. So maybe we'll go that direction. Kind of tie in the scenes to have them make sense. And this was a double-sided paper that had these long strips of a scene, which would look super cute as well for one of these flip-flap scenic cards. So there it is. And you could totally put a little sentiment up there if you wanted to. Look how adorable. Right? And then on the inside, we're just going to add a really easy stamp. If you wanted to stamp this all first, you could. I have this awesome little stamp set that's got thanks, thank you, happy birthday, best wishes, I love you, cheers to you, thinking of you. And in the first card, I used cheers to you. But I think I didn't do a very good job stamping. We probably should get out my Misty, but it's really thick and I don't think I can get my card in there. So we're just going to hand stamp it. And this one, I think we're going to do thinking of you, or maybe best wishes. Let's do best wishes. I love this because it's, and I have the link to this stamp set down below too. I like it because I just need a sentiment on the inside of a card because I've done all of the elements and I've not done a sentiment, but I want something. And this covers pretty much everything. Thanks, thinking of you, happy anniversary. Well, there's no anniversary, but it says best wishes. It's the all-encompassing card sentiment set. So just inking it up really good. Let's see if I can get a nice good, just right there in the center. Be better if I went twice, but it's okay. Not too bad. Not too shabby. There we go. So that's it. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? Two adorable little cards. It's that little peekaboo, little hidden something right there. All right, so let's build another one, but I won't do the 3D parts because you guys get the idea now. I would love if you guys gave me a thumbs up. That would be awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so we are going to do, we have all the pieces out here. So here we go. So we're going to do this one. And then we're going to have this little guy on the inside. So it's like birdhouse, birdhouse. So it'll look cute. So we're going to pull this out. And this one I did not cut down. I'm so sorry. And then we're just going to pull this piece out, which is a little birdie house. We just need these two to get the card started, and I can always build from there on later. And I just love, they're just such cute little cards. All right, so have all my pieces, get everything else out of the way. So if you missed how to build this earlier, here is the base part of your card. I have lots of crap in the way, don't I? All right, so fold this in half, and this makes a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch card. And I will have all the measurements when we're done. So here's the main card, right? Oh, I touched my camera, now it's all wobbly. All right, now we need to get the paper trimmer back out, because we are going to cut this beautiful cardstock, this beautiful shimmery, of which if you had your own cards, you could totally use that. So here we're going to go to 3 1/4. We're going to make this a 3 1/4 inch square. Save that for something else if you want to. And then because this is already folded, we're going to just cut the open end to 3 1/4. So I don't have to cut twice, because I want to keep the score line. That's because this is the little mini card that goes on top. If you don't already have a pre-scored card, just cut it to the measurements I put in the information section. And then the last thing is take this piece, go to 3 1/2 and score at the 3 1/2. And this is your little flapper. And there it is. Now we have all of our elements to build our card. All right, so we're going to go ahead and place down. Oh, I got to do one more thing. I haven't cut this yet. So when this originally came out, it's a little bit too big. I just felt it was too on the nose to be the exact same size of the card. So I wanted to trim it down to be a little bit smaller. So if you notice, this is just a little too big. So we're going to trim this. But I don't want to just trim right down in the middle, because I'm going to cut it off. So when it came out, it's 3 1/4, or yeah, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. But I want to go to 3 1/2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off. Hang on, maybe I'm wrong. I had everything measured. I'm sorry, I don't want to mess this up. I think I dropped it down to be, yeah, I dropped it down to be 3 1/2. But this guy seems to be a bit bigger. All right, so we're going to take off 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, so it's going to be 1/8. So it's 1/8 of an inch going all the way around. You're just taking off a tiny bit. So if it's at 3 1/4, I'm going one, not, is that 1/8? No, it's not a, I think it's 1/8. 2 tick marks, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry. And now it becomes 3 1/2, because I've already done one cut. So we go 3 1/2. So if you just take off the same amount going all the way around, you're not going to, you can make this turn back, and you would never know that I took off a little bit of that card. I mean, it still looks pretty intact. So there we go. Now, this particular element that we're putting on this card is much bigger in terms of the size of the piece that's going to be covering it up. So it's almost like here, it's just a little element that we're lifting up. Here, we're going to be lifting up a really big one, which is still pretty cool. So put your card face down first. And this could just be a pattern paper. It does not have to be a scene of any kind. If you wanted to build this with your own materials, totally cool that way. And then you could have, so you could have a really pretty pattern paper here, and you could have some sort of fun stamp that's a sentiment stamp that says, I mean, shoot, you could stamp one of these thinking of you and put it as a circle, and the circle flips up. And then you could have another stamp on the inside that says best wishes, you know, or you could just do sentiments. There's so many ways that you can play around with this idea of a card. All right, let's get, I only need, let's get that stuff out of the way. I just need these pieces. All right, so building my card again to make sure I have everything in line. And I don't say, you know, put your flap down first, because depending on what image you're putting here, you want to have it lined up the way you want to. So maybe it's a little higher, a little lower, whatever actually ends up working for the card. Whatever's best fit for the card is what I should say. Okay, and so then this piece goes right here as I shift my entire card. So that's good. I think that works. There's no wrong. This one, because it's so big, I don't think it's going to make a difference about exactly where I put it. So right kind of in the middle would be just great. It's such a large element. So the flat piece goes down first. Make sure this is nice and folded. Make sure it's folding so it's coming in correctly and it's not folding wonky. Otherwise, it's going to mess up your flap. There we go. And then place your cover paper on top right here. Love this dot paper. You could sand this too to distress it, which I think is really pretty. You could do that. That would look awesome. And then on top of that, we're going to put just the little tiniest, and this is just, and it's most of it's going to get covered up. So it's just that little hint of something. And that would look super cute too, right? Like just a little flap. You wouldn't even have to have the background scene. So just imagine you had background, and then here you could have just a little sentiment hiding behind a really big image. You could do those project life cards. That would be a cool little flap to lift up too. Sky's the limit, guys, with this particular card design. So many options for this. Okay, and then let's go ahead and glue this down. So the back side, glue the back. This would also be a really cute, instead of a card, as like a mini book. Really adorable mini book, right? Think about if you put pictures. So you could put a picture, open it up, picture, and then this could be another picture. So you could have a flap. So that'd be a really, really sweet little mini book too. All right, so now we're going to add our adhesive and line this guy right up. Something about, I just want to see bright and cheery stuff right now. Things to make me happy, things to make me smile. I think we all need things that make us smile while we're stuck at home. So here we go. So it's a little hint of something, a little fun scene. And I will pop this up after we're done filming. And then now we're going to put the scene on the inside. And this time I thought, so here again, the blue, but I thought the blue was too on the nose with the blue on the edge of this card. So I liked the little bees because the bees were in there. The little buzzy bees. So we'll put the bees down with the white side up just because it's just too matchy with the blue on the background of this card. I just thought these little scenes were so sweet. They're just so cute. Begging to make cards out of, let me tell you. Begging to make cards out of. And when it's already all done for you, it's just a matter of just assembling the card. But again, you could do stamped images to your heart's content. You could also stamp something in here. You could add just pattern paper in here. I mean, you can have, you don't have to leave this blank. I just didn't go overboard with this card and add elements to every single layer. And so here we have the flap, open flap, and then we'll put our sentiment on the inside here. So what sentiment do we want this time? Where did I put my stamps? Of course, oh, there they are underneath my thing. So we did the first card has cheers to you, which I stamped really crappily. And then we have best wishes. Why don't we do thinking of you? Did I do thinking? No, I did cheers to you, right? So just changing it up, having fun. Thinking of you. And that kind of, the thing about doing a stamp that has like thinking of you or best wishes or cheers to you, it really kind of encompasses, it would work for birthday. It would work as a sentiment card. It would work of just want to make you feel better kind of a card and just passing it along. You know, an encouragement card. Hey, I'm just thinking of you. I'm just want to make you smile today. Again, didn't stamp that great, but there you go. And there it is. Super cute. So it's a little hidden flip flap. The double-sided flip flap. So here's the first flap, and then the second flap, which is just an interactive part on the front of the card. Here we go is another one. Little flap, and again, little flap with little scenes on the inside. And I actually have one more that I could make doing the exact same thing. It'd be as big as this. And I have one more little card. There it is. And it's the same one. It's that little mouse right here. So I could do that for the inside. So, which is kind of cute because it's the mouse holding the seeds, and then all of a sudden the mouse has got the flowers. So it ties in. I didn't intend it to work that way, but it worked. So the first one, we have the little, you know, the house, the little potting shed, and on the inside, you've got the birds going, okay, we'll find some little shoes. And then here we've got the mouse with the flowers, and the hidden little inside is a little bunny with the grapes, which is really cute. Really is not like a weight. But then here we have the birdie with the watering can, and then inside the bird's going, okay, now we need the seeds. I got the water. So they're cute, they're fun, they're just, you know, adorable. And then I do have, as I kept shoving them in, there was those little extra bees that I could go in and I could attach. And so I just need to pop these up. So I could pop up the cutie little bees, which I think would look really adorable. I just need to make my pop dots small enough. And then there's another one I can add on this one, and then another one I can add here. So it just gives an element to the back of the the background paper, which would look really cute because you get to pop it up. And then pop this guy up. And those elements, there is a bee on there too. I pop up the bird. I pop up the bird with the what do you call that? A shovel. It's not really a shovel. It's got 3 prongs to it. And then the watering can and then some flowers. So this one doesn't have huge amounts of layers either. So it's nice. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please give my video a thumbs up. Don't forget, everyone's more cards coming your way. There's also a giveaway video hop going on. It was last Saturday, this Saturday, and next Saturday, and I have an amazing prize. It's that big die cutting machine that I like to use quite a bit. It's called the Crossover 2. So if you leave comments on all 3 videos, it's your chance to win. And there's some really cool, and it's all about using up your scraps. So when you have little bits of scraps of paper left over like this, or maybe it's stickers, or it could be bits and pieces. The first one was embellishments. The one that's coming this Saturday, and I'm going to give you a little sneaky peek. The one this Saturday is tags or bookmarks, and then the last week is cards. So here's my sneaky. Here's my little sneaky. That's one of the tags that is coming this Saturday. So you got to stay tuned for that. So come this Saturday, and there's a few of us that are in this video hop, and there's other prizes. That's just my prize, but there's also some digital papers and digital stamps and some other amazing prizes by the wonderful ladies that are in this hop. So please join. And the first video is already live, so you can go check that out. And that is where I made, hang on, let me get them. Where did I put them? I had them. They disappeared. Oh, shoot. Oh, you're there. I made these pretty flowers. So they're not super thick, but it's a way to use up some of your scrap paper or your scrap flare to make these gorgeous flowers. So that is the first video that is up about how to use that. So thank you guys so much. Again, thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Kids videos every Tuesday and Thursday at noon to do kids crafts, but they're still fun crafts to do anyway, and cards every Wednesday. See you guys later. Bye, everybody.